So this is a quick little video about handling the string that we've given you. Turns out it's pretty nasty stuff. If you want to use different string, that's fine. The stresses under this stuff is really not that much. It's holding a 1 kilogram payload. So this really doesn't have to be particularly strong string, but this stuff is pretty cheap and it's fine. I want to show you two things in this video. The first thing is how to avoid this, which is have the string frays when you cut it, because you will want to cut it into pieces, and in a different video I'll show you why. And I want to show you how to tie a nice little loop, which you're going to be tying several loops when you're doing your payload construction or anything like that. So first thing, when you cut it, you'll find that it frays like this pretty easily. So you cut it like this and it just pops apart, and it's not particularly good stuff. So what you can do instead is an old trick, is take a little bit of painter's tape. You're going to tape it where you want to cut it, wherever that is, in a little loop like this. Doesn't have to be tight or anything like that. And then cut it in the middle of that painter's tape. And that will hold it together, but the next trick is to then melt the ends. And I've got a little hot air gun that I use. I'm going to melt the ends here, and that's going to give you a nice end that's not going to come apart. So I just melt the end like that. Okay, and you can use flame or whatever you want to do, just be careful. And then that's what it looks like, is a nice melted end, which won't come apart. You can take the tape off if you want to, but there's no real need to. And then that's a good way to get smaller pieces out of the rope that we've given you. Blue painter's tape is nice for that. Now, the other thing that's important to know how to do is to tie a nice loop in the end. And there's lots of ways to do this. Some people, you can just take the loop like this, tie an overhand knot, and that works. It's a little bit bulky. It's not very elegant. So the nice way to do this is with a bowline knot. And there's a couple different ways to do this. The first way is to make a loop in one side. We call this the standing end, and this is the working end. So we make a loop, and then we go up through the loop. We go back behind the standing end, and we go down through the loop again. It looks like that. So this is the typical classic. The rabbit goes up the hole, around the tree, and back down through the hole. And it's important to make sure that the tree is on the right side of the loop and everything like that. And then when you pull tight, it's a nice tight loop that's not going to give way. It's also relatively easy to undo. If you turn it over and then flip this part down, that will loosen the whole thing, and you can just get rid of it. Now, a quick way to do this, which I learned at camp one time, is to take the standing end in your left hand, whichever is your non-dominant hand. Take the working end in your right hand or your dominant hand, and then if you just take the string and put it over the loop like this with your index finger, and then grab that X and then flip it under, then you've already got the loop in the right direction, and you've already got the working end up the loop in the right direction. And then all you have to do is go under and back down. And then you've got your nice knot, which you can then pull tight. Okay, so I'll show you that one more time. It's nice and quick, and it can get you these tyings done very quickly. So again, you flip it over, flip it under, and then through. Okay, one more time I'll show you because it's awesome. You have your standing end in your left hand, you have your working hand in your right hand, over, flip that working end under, that gets you the loop, that gets you the working end up to the loop already, and then go back under the standing end and down through the loop. Nice loops, and you'll tie a lot of these loops when you're assembling your payload.